Okay, I just wanted to be able to replicate my ship on future playthroughs because I really like the layout that I've ended up with, and I really like the performance that I'm getting out of it. So most of the parts come from this guy in the Deimos shipyards. So head over to Deimos, dock with the shipyards. Oops, I picked the wrong option. View and modify your ships. And then here is the ship itself. So you can see pretty good hull, very good cargo, some shielded capacity. I've got some shielded cargo. Good shields, good jump distances. It's all around good. Now the downsides: it uses a C-class reactor, and there are a couple of parts that I've picked that require Starship Engineering 4. So that is potentially a limitation for you. But you can see it's a 3-deck kind of design, and we're going to take a look at kind of everything that you need and where it all is and where it all comes from. In this case, most of the parts are from the Deimos shipyard, but there's a couple, notably this bridge, that do not come from the Deimos shipyards. Okay, so here I've kind of exploded the ship a little bit, and we can take a look at what's included and kind of where I put it and how it's all arranged. So from the start, we'll start with the bridge. Now, this is one of the only parts, like I said, that has to come from somewhere else. I'm at the Deimos shipyards now. You cannot get it here. For that, you need to go to New Homestead. That's over in Titan. I'll show you where to get that later on in the video. There are 2 exits from this bridge, which is why I chose it. You can kind of see them, but pull it out. You can kind of see them here. They're in the middle. These 2, upper and lower, there's a little stairway between them. Those others are connecting points, but they are not actually doors out of the thing. So I have it connecting into this 2x2 Deimos battle station. It connects to this door here. So you get that in there. Right next to it, I've got a Nova Galactic Armory. I chose this armory because it has mannequins in it. A couple of the armory models do not. So, mix and match to your own preference. And then from the Deimos battle station, there's a door right here. So this is one of the reasons I like this build. The doors are essentially random, but I like the doors that I ended up with in this particular build. That's why I'm making the video, so I can replicate it in other playthroughs. If you happen to like it too, fantastic. Leave a like or something, I guess. But there's a door right here. And you can see above this, the docker is also in this square. It's right above it. And so like these are mostly decorative bits, but the docker is not a decorative bit, and it goes right here. There's another door here. It leads to this infirmary. It's a 2x1 infirmary, and this has a pharmaceutical station and a research station. And then there's a door right here that goes into this 2x2 brig. I just kind of like the brig, and to me, it sort of makes sense. This is sort of the command deck, right? Like it's got the bridge, it's got this battle stations thing, it's got an armory, it's got an infirmary. It's sort of everything you need for military ops. And I wanted a 2x2, and I kind of liked the brig, and I was like, let's just throw it in there. So it turns out it goes directly into what's kind of the office for the brig, and then there's kind of a door here into the cells and like kind of another little waiting area thing. So I really liked kind of just how everything fell out with that. These decorative bits right above it, mostly these are just spines. So there's spine A for a C aft into a Deimos radiator. These are all Deimos pieces. And then this goes into a Deimos cowling 4. Now I've got this here because it kind of flares out, and it's going to go into one of the engines. Same thing on the other side. And then in the middle, I've got that, the spine A into a docker, into a B, into an A aft. And so that's what I've got there. And then on this, I've got also mounted a scanner jammer. The docker's in the middle. I've got a comm spike, and I've got a conduction grid because I did the Crimson Fleet quests, and that's what you get out of those. And they're good anyway if you can get them, do. So that's the very topmost level, and when we arrange everything, ultimately that's the only real bit that matters, but we can take all of these others, hold control, double click to kind of get stuff all on there. This will go here, this will go here, and then this will go here. Just like that, we have assembled the first floor. There we go. Okay. I said that would go up into the engines. We'll take a quick look at the engines. I actually used the Supernova engines originally. Those are, so I was actually using sort of a low level one initially. I eventually upgraded. This is actually new. I haven't built my ship in a while. I leveled up right before I made this video, so I hadn't actually seen that there was another version of this. But these also work real well with this design. So, you know, they're also kind of big, kind of round, and that they also look good. So, you know, you can either mount those up. Oh, we'll go up a little. So you can see, you know, they kind of flare out into this sort of circular design, or in my case, I've used these, which are SAL 6830s from Slayton Aerospace. You cannot get these at the Deimos station either. I believe I bought these in Neon. The Slayton Aerospace headquarters is in Neon. You find that out in the story, and they definitely sell Slayton Aerospace parts in Neon. So that's what I've got. I've got two of these. One on the port and one on the starboard, and then I've also got this SAE 5660 engine that is just sort of mounted in the middle, and on top of it is a Assurance SG 1800 shield generator. It is the highest rated shield generator I've found in terms of actual shield value, and if I find a bigger one, I will substitute it in, because that's really all I want out of that. I don't want to have to wait for them to recharge. I just want them to be good right out of the bat. So that's that. Optionally, you can put these kind of panels on the side. I did initially, just to kind of cover up the fact that this was a different model, and a couple of my second floor ones are different models from each other, so they don't quite match up on the exterior. You can see the highlighting and all of that are slightly different colors. So I just paneled over them with these Tayo side cap B ports. So take all of those, throw them right there, and then we've got these tanks, fuel tanks on either side. These are the M50 Ulysses helium-3 tanks, and these I liked because they are 2-level, so they kind of help bring the whole thing together, right? Like, you kind of ties the room together, as it were. So we've got those on there too. So I'm going to kind of leave this alone for the moment and look at the second floor real quick. So the second floor, the second door to the bridge comes down directly into this door. This is a computer core. It's a 2x2, and from there, the way this ends up randomizing, there is a ladder also in this square that will go down into the bottom floor. So we've got that, and then immediately also, when you exit this door to your left, there is a door into the workshop. I wanted the workshop and the science lab, which are also right next to that, to be really easily accessible from the bridge, because I use them a lot. I'm in a science-focused build, so I was using crafting stations pretty frequently. And so this is just like right next to the bridge. The workshop directly into the science lab, there's a door that will connect them. And then there's another door right at the front of the science lab that will connect into this engineering bay. Don't really need the engineering bay. I have way more crew stations than I can actually use on this ship, but I kind of liked it for the role play. So we can take all 4 of these and then just slide them in on the bottom side of this ship. And so you kind of get the core of the ship just like that. Everything fits together quite nicely. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom floor. So like I said, there's a ladder that will come in to the bottom floor from essentially the first square right behind the cockpit on the bottom floor, because there's no ladders between these top 2 floors. When you use this bridge, near as I can tell, you never get a ladder between these floors. But there is a ladder from the middle floor to the bottom floor. And as far as I can tell, I was able to force its location a little bit by using a companionway. It seems, and this is not 100%, but it seems to prefer using companionways as the point of entrance to a different floor or whatnot, if it can, or to connect rooms if there's multiple options. It seems to want to go through companionways. It doesn't always. But in this case, it did, and I was able to force it to go here, which is great because this is also where the docking bay will end up connecting, is through this. So you get the docking bay down, you get the ladder up, and you get sort of a door right here to the living quarters deck. And so this again is kind of an RP thing, but it's the sort of living deck. And so this door from the companionway goes directly out into this Deimos living quarters. The way that this is set up, there's sort of like this little kind of annex room right here, and then it opens out into kind of a living room area. And so that worked out really well. I liked how that worked. And then there's a door right over here into this mess hall. I went with a Hopetech mess hall instead of the Deimos mess hall because I think they all have slightly different arrangements of all of the rooms. And I went with the 3x2 instead of the 2x3 because the rotation of the room sort of changes where it connects and stuff. This ended up making it look like a better connection. It kind of looks like an actual hallway into this thing, and it doesn't like go awkwardly into like the officer's mess, which is kind of over in this corner, or into the middle of the kitchen, which is kind of over in this corner. So I just liked how it ended up connecting. And then I used one of these, a Hopetech Hab Spine, which you can only get over in Hopetown, and I'll show you where to get those later in the video. But this will force a door here, and it actually in this case forces a doorway. This is the only part of the ship that I don't like. There is not actually a door on either side of this connection, so there's no door directly into the captain's quarters, so no privacy for the captain. That's just, I'm afraid that's just how it is. This is a Deimos captain's quarters, not exactly the coziest version of the captain's quarters, but I liked it because it's got a nav table, so I don't actually have to go to the bridge to navigate. And then I've just got some portholes on the top of it, and one of these 4 portholes also on the front of it. So that's this side. This side from the living quarters also has one of these Hopetech Hab Spines to force a connection into this other living quarters, this Deimos 3x1 living quarters, which has a couple of different beds and stuff, and it's got some of these top portholes and also a porthole 4. There are some side windows. Yeah, I didn't grab them earlier. These side windows also go over here, just like that. So, you know, and they look quite nice when you're in the inside. You can see out of the ship a little bit. But the reason I wanted to use this Hopetech Hab Spine is because it forces this connection. If you don't have this here, if you use like a storeroom or something else, what ends up happening is that you get a connection from the Deimos living quarters over into this all-in-one, which you can sub out with really any other kind of 3x1 that you want. But it ends up getting a connection here, and then it tries to force the connection either in one of these 2 places over to here, and so you cannot get to this room without going through the side room, which was just weird, and I was trying to find a way to avoid that. So instead, you now have a connection from this living quarters into this all-in-one, and then there's no other doors in this all-in-one. It's just kind of a dead end, which is what I wanted because it's kind of hidden in this wing. This floor is filled out with a bunch of whole A's. So there's one here and here, there's one in the back here, and then there's one in the front kind of over here. And then these are Deimos braking engines on the front. They just kind of give a kind of a good look to the whole thing. And then on the sides, these are mirrored. There is a Deimos wing A port, wing C in the middle, kind of has this radiator thing, and then this is a wing A aft. And so I have the same thing on the other side, except that they're all starboard and starboard aft. So that is the bottom floor. Now, the decorative bits on the bottom floor, I've got these spines again. So we've got a Deimos Spine A, a Deimos Spine D, and a Deimos Spine F. So those sit right on top of that. And then this will not actually connect here on its own. You have to have an equipment plate on top of that in order to put the gun. I'll talk about the guns here in a minute. But I've got that on both sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop those there. This is not actually connected. Now it is. So that's the bottom floor. So we take the bottom floor, double click, move the bottom floor in its entirety right there. Bam. Beautiful. Okay, we're almost done. So there is one more sort of floor. It's this bottom floor, but really the only thing here is the landing bay, right? So we've got a landing bay. I've got a bunch of whole A's. These are really just here to kind of give it some shape, to kind of fill it out because it looked kind of empty. and then these are capped by this belly 4 on both sides. In the middle here, right behind the landing bay, I actually have the cargo holds. So there's a big cargo hold here. This is a 20T hauler. Has 760 cargo. And then I've got a pair of these Galleon S202s that have 950. There's one on each side. And I picked those because if we kind of look down at the bottom, they kind of blend fairly well. So, you know, they're not perfect, but it's good. And then we've got the belly afts instead of the belly 4s on the other side. So belly 4, belly aft. Goes right across there. And then there is also, where did it go? I have shielded cargo somewhere, but now I forget where I put it. Well, I guess we'll find it when we put it all together. Oh, right, they're on the sides. Aren't they? Where'd it go? I don't know where it went. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Figure it out in post. So anyway, this is the bottom floor, and then it's got some decorative stuff. These wings will attach to the backs of this part. Then the landers will go on the bottom side of the sort of outside of these wings. As far as the power core, I'm just using the biggest, baddest power core that I can find. This one generates 38 power. It's the Fusor DC403. It requires piloting 4 and Starship rank 3, or design rank 3. And it just slots in right under that. So we can take this whole thing and just drop it right on top of all. Oh, actually, I guess I should talk about the Grav Drive too. Grav Drive, same thing, just biggest kind of jump thrust that you can find. This one's 50. This is the Apollo GV 300 Grav Drive. Also requires Starship Design 4. So it's a little much maybe if you haven't climbed the Starship Design tree, but really the goal is just get the biggest you can. Make sure I've lined this up right, because I don't know if I have. Where's the... Yeah, okay. Should be good. This, though, so I have a missile launcher on the front of the landing bay here. This will not actually fit by default. This is glitched in. I did it accidentally originally, and I'm actually not sure how to replicate it. There are some videos out there on the internet, though, that you can find that will tell you. But so everything fits together there. But you can see if I double click this now and kind of move it, it leaves this behind. And, you know, I kind of like having it sort of tucked in here. It looks like it should fit, but it just doesn't, barely. Oops, I lost it. So yeah, it just sort of barely, the top of it sort of grazes. So your options there are either don't use it, which is fine. You don't need it. And you can just kind of leave something there to kind of fill the space. Or maybe pick one that has a smaller profile, or glitch it in. That's what I did, again, accidentally originally. I didn't really know what I was doing, but that is your option. And then, of course, the side panels over here and the fuel tank that I left behind last time. So that's it. The weapons that I'm using, there are three if you count the missile launcher. I basically never power the missile launcher. It's there mostly for looks. But as far as like actually firing weapons, I use these Disruptor 3340 alpha beams. One, because the range is very, very long. It's almost 4,000 meters. And two, because the damage is very, very high. And I happen to like the particle beams because I don't have to, you know, keep track of like, is it shields up? Do I need to switch weapons? Whatever. No, like, I'm like, no. Just shoot it with my weapon all the time. These things do amazing damage. I had 3 until I got the Crimson Fleet stuff, and then I needed some space for it, so I sort of reiterated. I got 4. You can definitely get away with 3. There's no need for 4 at all. It's probably overkill to even have 3 because they are very, very good, frankly. So I've got 4 of those, and then I've also got 4 Disruptor 3340A auto alpha turrets, and these things will just fire on their own. And so I've got 2 that are front-facing, and then I also have 2 that are mounted on these wings, rear-facing. And so you have pretty good coverage, yeah, that's it. That's all you need. I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to exit because I glitched that thing in and I don't want to fix it, but there you go. You can see it just glitches in just barely, kind of clips the top of it. But that's the arrangement of all of the parts. As far as the layout, I'm also going to show you that because I like it very much. It's the reason I want to replicate this ship. We will go in, we'll just board instead of going directly to the cockpit. So, like I said, the docker will bring you out directly in the middle of the sort of battle stations kind of area. We get the armory right over here to the side. And again, I picked this one because it's got these mannequins. I keep redesigning the ship though, so I'm not populating the mannequins. If you populate the mannequins and then redesign the ship, which includes anything down to just recoloring it, everything in the ship that's lying around will go into your ship's cargo hold. So be aware of that. But we've got the infirmary, there's the farm station, and then we've got the brig over here. So here's hanging out in here for some reason. So, you know, the first floor, good flow to it. It makes sense. I like it. We go over here to the bridge, and we can see the stairway that leads down. No ladders to the second floor. So this is the computer room. Over here, we have the workshop, and then we can go into the science lab and engineering. So this is kind of the business floor, right? Top floor is kind of the combat floor. This floor is kind of like that keep the ship running floor. And then right down here into this storeroom that sort of connects all the floors. If we were on the ground, this would be the docker to go out. This is the living quarters, right? So kind of this little anteroom for that. Mess hall over here. So kind of the officer's mess back here in the corner with no like weird doors or anything in it. We've got the kitchen over here, and again, no like weird doors in the floor or something like that, kind of coming in the middle of the galley or like in the storeroom over here that are just weird. I keep getting weird ship arrangements that do that. This is that spine hallway, and then right into the captain's quarters. We can see out. Nice windows here, nice windows there. You can see we're docked at the Deimos Star Station. So again, no door here. That's kind of like the only weird part of this is there's not a door on either side of this. Usually there's a door on one side or the other. In that case, there is not. Over here, you can see got the same room. Everybody's in the way, so I guess we're not going to go down this hall, especially since they are spawning in further in there. But there is a door on this side, so we'll just keep them all in there. And then there's a door right over here into this other living quarters. So good flow, no like really weird doorways to speak of. You know, we've just kind of got a good general layout, and I was super thrilled with it after working on it for hours and hours and hours. One of the only other downsides, when Vasco's on the ship, for some reason he's like in the floor right here, and that's a little awkward too, especially since this door is usually kind of in the way. So that's a bit of a downside, but not like a substantial one. So let me go ahead and cut, and I will, well, actually, I guess we can just go over to the nav station. You don't have to sit down in the pilot seat to navigate. So again, this is at the Deimos Star Yards, right here in the good old Sol system where we're all from. But if you want this bridge, you must go to Titan, and to specifically New Homestead. So we're going to head over to New Homestead, and all you really got to do is, when you land in New Homestead, go over and talk to the ship technician. Nothing fancy. View and modify your ships. Hit B, and then you can drop a new bridge. This is a cockpit, and he's got these Cabot 4 or C3 and 4 bridges. The only real difference between these is the cargo. It's 280 for the 3, and then 300 and then 320. So that's the only difference there. And so you can get this sort of double layer bridge from here. The other part that I was using were Hopetown parts, mostly. And those, again, you can get not from the Sol system. Okay, so to find Hopetown, you go over here to where it says Narion, but you don't actually want the Narion system, you want the Valo system. So you go to Valo, go over here to the world of Polvo, and then Hopetown. You land at Hopetown, and then you can just talk to the ship services technician here in Hopetown, and they are going to have all of the parts that you want for the static struts, those connecting struts that I was showing you. So you come over here, stop to talk to the ship services technician, and then the parts that you want are under HABs. Go down to the cross brace for a horizontal one, which I didn't really use in this one, but is an option. And then you've got the HAB spine. This is the kind of fore to aft one that I've used over here in this floor to kind of connect these doors here, and then also right back here in the connector for this particular living quarters. So that's it. That's where you find everything. This bridge from Hopetown, these connectors from, or sorry, this bridge from New Homestead on Titan, Hopetown for these HAB spines, and then you can go and get the rest at Deimos, or really whatever manufacturer you want. I picked them because I like the Deimos design for the most part. Stroud will give you a slightly different color scheme for most of them. And then, you know, you just kind of pick what you want. I mean, I'm not your boss, but I like the layout that I ended up getting with this one. So, you know, take a look. As far as the actual performance, I can show you that too real quick, because it is extraordinarily good. We'll just go to a planet where I know that we will often run into enemies.
I picked up something you might be interested in.
So, mount up. Basically, anytime you are in the late game and you just want to do some ship combat, come out to the Serpentis system right here and just go anywhere. Doesn't really matter. We're going to just set a course to Serpentis 4, jump right off. I've already explored every system, so I don't have to wait. And then just wait just a second, and there will be people. They will come, and they will fight you. There they are. So you can see I'm not clicking anything. This is my turrets going off on that thing. You know, they do have a kind of an available radius, but then those 4 coming from the sides, that's me clicking. So no big deal, right? Just blow right through them. You know, my shields finally went down after I was like not actually fighting seriously for a while. Not a substantial threat. And the range on these things again, close to 4,000 meters, so you can just fire from kind of wherever, and you're good. Oh, there's a third one. Did not see that. So, as you can see, no big deal. You know, I did lose shields and I took some hull damage. I used 1 ship part and I'm back to full. So, not a big deal. But if you want to fight more, if you are in the Serpentis system, you can. Actually, I should take stuff out of my Grav Drives and put it into my weapons. There we go. I have all this extra energy I'm like not even using, so you can see like the performance is high. But if you just kind of travel over to any other system, there will, like 9 times out of 10, some Varun are going to spawn and fight you. So we'll just wait a moment. No, there they are. You can see when I actually allocate power to these things, it's a much smoother kind of thing. There we go. Already done. So, yeah, it's a solid build. It's definitely overkill for the most part in terms of kind of weapons and armor and shields. The Crimson Fleet quest, if you've done that in the very last segment, has a lot of space combat. It was one of the last things I did in this playthrough, and this ship was hyper overkill for it. I did not need this much anything to be able to do that fight. But you can see, not too bad, pretty straightforward. One thing worth noting, there's a lot of crew compositions on this. In this particular combination, so you don't want to leave a bunch of people behind. I've definitely gone through and recruited some others, so if you've only got the core crew, then that's only 4 or 5 with Vasco, right? But I've gone and recruited some others, so go to a bar. That's where everybody hangs out. Go to a bar and recruit some people. And you can assign them also to the ship. So, like, I've got Omari Hansen and Marika Boros and, like, Andromeda Kepler. Like, these are all just people hanging out in bars. They don't really have any stories, but they are companions that are recruitable. You can have them follow you around, or you can assign them to your ship because they have ship skills like piloting and aneutronic fusion. So, do that. Put them on your ship. I've got a full crew. And in this case, again, ship design is not as critical, but honestly, at least 1 or 2 really helps. And then piloting 4 is required for Class C ships. You need piloting 3 for Class B ships and piloting 4 for Class C ships. Every point of ship design kind of unlocks some extra stuff. I would highly recommend 2 to get access to most stuff. 3 is also pretty good. Some of the highest stuff is 3. I haven't seen too many pieces that are 4, honestly. I got it because I wanted it, but you could get away with 3 very easily. But that's that. In this case, I've also got leadership, which leads the way to ship command. Ship command lets you have more crew members on your ship, and so that is, that's worth having if you've got a bunch of crew positions and you want to fill them and all that. So that's all I've got, though. That's everything. You've seen the ship. You've seen its big shooties. And part of the reason, again, I like particle beams is look how fast that refills. Like, you don't have to, you can just hold it down. Right? So anyway, that's that. I don't have anything else. There you go.